everyone, today is going to be my own version of sauce day, and we have to start by defrosting all these guys. Cool, so it is now much later than I thought it was going to be, but I digress. It's fine, I'm a night out anyway. So now that these are defrosted, I've drained the water, they're very soft, squishy, I'm going to transfer all of them into my Dutch oven. Now you can use whatever pot you have, stock pot, regular pot, whatever. I just like when I'm making soups and things like that in a Dutch oven. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm also gonna take any tomatoes that I have ready, so from the last 2 harvests. And again, I'm just gonna wash them like I did, take the stems off and put them in the pot. Okay, so they are all beautiful and colorful and in the pot. So I'm just gonna let this kind of simmer and go for like 10 minutes, then come back, stir. A lot of the frozen tomatoes had, they're releasing a lot of water, as you can see. So I shouldn't have to worry about burning, but obviously don't leave things unattended on your stove. But yeah, I'm just gonna let this go, kind of simmer down, let all those tomatoes break down into their lovely tomato goodness, and I'll come back. Okay, we're absolutely getting closer. Things are starting to burst. I'm just gonna stir so nothing burns at the bottom, but we can still see, even though that one's squished pretty well, there's still a lot of, this one's taking a lot of effort, so I'm gonna leave it. I want everything to be nice and roasted, and kind of congealed before I start doing anything else. Okay, so now that it has been about, I don't know, 30 minutes, everything is coming together. It's much thicker than we originally saw, and I can now very gently squish all the tomatoes against the side wall, and they instantly burst. So what I'm going to do is take it off of the heat, and I'm going to use a stick blender or an immersion blender and try and get all of these chunks and make it a little bit more smooth. Totally up to you. I know some people use a food mill for this. Because I'm using mostly cherry and grape tomatoes, they're gonna have a higher seed content versus meat versus like aroma or an heirloom. So that's why I'm just using a stick blender so I can save some sauce versus soup. Beautiful. You can also use a blender too and transfer back and forth. Stick blender, again, emulsion blender, whatever you want to call it, was just more convenient. So now this is where I'm going to add my seasoning. So I'm going to add some salt, some pepper, a little bit of oregano, things like that, but I'm not going to over season it. I'm going to leave it a little bit bland. And the reason being is when I can it and I go to use it, I can always add more seasoning, but you can't really take away. So I try and leave it a little bit more bland than I normally would so that I can season the final product when I go to use it. And finally, we're gonna add a little bit of lemon juice to this because we are water bath canning it and we need it to stay at a high acidity level versus something where I'm gonna pressure can it. And after all that, we are left with 2 pints to can and a ½ pint to throw in the fridge. This is not full to can safely, so I know this isn't as grandiose as the lovely ones we've seen where it's just stacks and stacks, but you know what? This is what my garden did, and these are the mighty cherry tomatoes. So thanks everyone for following along, and I'll talk to you later. Bye everyone.